15 years ago, it became my dawn privilege to ascend the golden stool as the 16th king of the Asante kingdom. Your great country, Seychelles, has been gracious enough to invite me and my delegation to make a symbolic return to the island, and we have chosen what we think is the right moment for this memorable voyage into history.
"120 years ago, the British colonial authorities finally invaded Kumasi, the capital of the epic 19th century empire, and arrested the 26-year-old king of Asante, Queenmothers III, also called Nana Agyeman Prempeh I, the Queen Mother, Nana Ye-cha, and 50 others. They were sent first to Elmina in the coastal area of what was then the Gold Coast as political prisoners, and then to Freetown, Sierra Leone, before crossing the Indian Ocean to the Seychelles Islands aboard the SS Dakwa. This was in 1896, and at a time Asante had sent a mission to London to negotiate the terms of British incorporation of it into its colonial enclave. The mission was in London, where Joseph Chamberlain, the Secretary of State for the Colonies, ordered the invasion. The arrest, which was meant to destabilize the empire and its leadership, led to the last of 8 Anglo-Asante wars of 1900, led on the Asante side by a woman, Asantehene, Queen Mother of Seychelles, later exiled to join Prempeh and the others in Seychelles. It set the tone for the decline of one of Africa's well-built empires since the 1700s. Some of the exiles, including Nana Ye-cha and Asantehene, died on the islands, but others survived, including Prempeh I, whose 27-year captivity is equivalent to Nelson Mandela's Robben Island experience. He was eventually allowed by the British to return to Kumasi, dying 10 years after. 120 years after, there is a successor king, also called Queenmothers, with the stool name of Osei Tutu II. He inherits, as Prempeh's great-grandnephew, an unbroken but diminished Asante kingdom. The historic visit he makes to the tropical islands nation, associated with paradise and described by the political scientist Salabert as prison without bars, was under different circumstances. No military escort of the imperial imprimatur, but in glory from an independent Ghana, guest of honor of the President of the Republic of Seychelles. Ivor Agyeman, an analyst of Seychelles Asante relations from the 1800s, traveled on the return of a king to Seychelles to continue his television interpretation of this most dramatic but also sorrowful episode in 19th century Asante's history, one of exile and dispossession into the unknown. History's shadows were on these coastal waters of Mahé. The first cosmopolitan king of Asante, Prempeh I, had made the 3 weeks journey by the sea route 120 years ago, aboard the SS Dakwa. His great-grandnephew, in a solemn, historic but long-awaited memorial visit, arrives by plane on April 22nd from South Africa to the Mahé International Airport as the sun sets on these blue waters. Otumfoɔ Osei Tutu II was received as king and accorded the courtesy of a head of state, and also as special guest of honor at the French-influenced colonial architecture, the State House in Mahé, by President James Michel. It was here they engaged in conversations of historical renewal.
Waiting for that. Wait for a long time.
As the message came to the master that I have to come to Seychelles.
Sure.
My great uncle, I'm a settled on the
Sure.
no fault of us.
It feels it's an honor to present to you. The stool is a symbol of the authority of the king. And
to your Creole Dutch, welcome to the Seychelles, greetings everywhere.
It's simply an honor to present to you symbol of Seychelles.
Nana Otumfoɔ summed up the follow-up implication of the visit and strategies of fulfillment.
on behalf of the king, I have to say thank you for this warm reception this morning. The ambience is historical in itself. This stately mansion make us feel very much, or have made us feel very much at home. First time when the king came here, it was rather under inauspicious circumstances. But now we are coming with full honor, glory, and grandeur.
Welcome to the Seychelles, sweet paradise in my eyes.
The meeting with descendants of King Prempeh as evidence of this living story was a bundle of emotions. Mary Marimba Prempeh and her 3 sons and a daughter are the only remaining direct descendants of Prempeh, though they are descendants of the other exiles. Mary's mother Susie was a direct daughter of James Prempeh, son of the Asantehene. Known and treated in high regard, including by the media in Mahé, these descendants have given ambassadorial services to Ghanaians who have passed through the shores of the island. Besides, bearing of ancestral resemblances, the post-death spirit of Prempeh is infectious in numerology of incidents.
Sweet paradise in my eyes.
Susie shares the same birthday with the King Prempeh, December 18th. Terry, born on September 11th, was the same day the king arrived in Seychelles. And Andrew, born on November 11th, was when King Prempeh departed the island back to Kumasi.
I feel very proud to be with you today, and it's very sentimental too. Yes, very touching. Yes, to be with you here.
My brothers and I, as well as mom, it's very honored to be here with you all, and it is such an honor to meet you all as well. You've heard a lot about Ghana and about the Ashanti family, and now we are honored to have met you. Thank you.
When we sit in Kumasi, we still feel an attachment because we know you are here. And for 150 years since the old man was brought here, we haven't forgotten that Seychelles is also one of our homes that we have to visit. And finally we are here to meet you. I sent Ivor to come to explore. We gave him a report about meeting you and the courtesies you extended to him when he was here. That affirmed the blood relations. The fact that you drove to a hotel to say, I'm not going to let you stay in the hotel, come home and live here. It is not gratitude, but it's a matter of your duty to have done that. Bringing the family together again. His grandfather also was exiled to Seychelles and he also died here. So it's all much about the same family. But we have come here at the invitation of your government. And for the next 3 days we shall be sharing this visit with you. You are now part of our delegation. We've come to take you from Seychelles to join us to enjoy the visit. We hope that one day we shall bring you to Kumasi to down also to see. I'll let Ibo work on that so that we can bring you down to have a look and then learn more about where you are. Secondly, it's a great family, it's a great kingdom, it's a great nation, Ghana. And so you must be missing out, as we are also missing out here because we are also here. But we will bring that together. We have cousins and uncles who are still there. That we deem it necessary that we don't want to lose the roots here. Or as we don't want you also to lose the roots back. So we do everything possible to bring us together again. We certainly wouldn't abandon you, we certainly wouldn't leave you here. We always will keep on reminding you that your roots are in Ghana. That you rest assured that we still have a family, we still have a king back home, thinking about you, knowing that you are here. So we thank you for coming.
The magic of your Creole touch, soft as the sunrise. In my eyes, I need to feel the freedom of the breeze, showing me the keys to your Creole touch.
It is here, at the cemetery in Seychelles, that some of the political exiles who accompanied Agyeman Prempeh were buried. Mary Prempeh's mother, Susie, and Susie's sister, Huguette, who died in the mid-2000s, were buried far off from here. The cemetery has as well the tombs of several gallant soldiers who fought on the side of the British and the Allied forces during the Second World War on the East African frontier.
In my eyes,
Bienvenue, Seychelles.
The current Queen Mother of Edjuswu, Nana Asantehene, assisted by the Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Creative Arts, Elizabeth Ofusu Ajare, laid a wreath on behalf of Asante and Ghanaian women and their Chempemhene Oheniba Edusei Poku on behalf of Asante Man.
And all the faithful part those that they rest in peace.
Bienvenue aux Seychelles. Vive le soleil.
And I'd like to be the one who asks and welcomes His Majesty the King from Ghana to please say a few words to Seychelles. Your Majesty.
For years to come, Seychellois will live with the memories of Carnaval Victoria and the vignettes of his highlights, the king's big umbrella, his headgear or crown, the smoothing voices of the royal poets or Otumfoɔ, amidst the ivory trumpet antiphonies, as well as the punctuation of his speech with linguistic affirmative approval.
So, Your Excellency President James Michel, Excellencies, Your Royal Highness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 15 years ago, it became my dawn privilege to ascend the golden stool as the 16th king of the Asante Kingdom. Your great country, Seychelles, has been gracious enough to invite me and my delegation to make a symbolic return to the island. And we have chosen what we think is the right moment for this memorable voyage into history. We have chosen, not as some would have wished, to come and mourn and unburden ourselves of the pain and anguish of the past. We have chosen instead to join you in celebrating the joy of freedom. And I'm happy to bring with me the direct granddaughter of our legendary warrior Queen Mother, who apparently bears the name of Nanaya Asante II. For it was the courage to dare to be free of foreign domination that brought us into captivity. And your island was chosen for a refuge because, like the Gold Coast, you too were a colonial outpost. Today we are liberated within a strong sovereign united Ghana, and you too are liberated. So we join together in freedom to celebrate the creativity of our people, expressed in song and dance, in poetry and in the fine arts. We salute the government of the Republic of Seychelles under your wise president on the organization of this carnival, and particularly for the effort to make it a focal point to international cooperation and the expression of authentic African culture. The more opportunities we create for the peoples of Africa to share and exhibit their inherent talents, the greater the prospects for achieving genuine unity and removing the sources of discord. When hearts are joined together to sing and dance together, there can be no room for xenophobia. Our destiny lies not in cutting each other adrift, but in joining our minds together to think, search, to innovate, and to create. We have come to join you today to send this message to this troubled world that it is possible to rise above the pain and anarchy of history, to let go of the past and focus on the things that are beneficial to the well-being of our generation.
Media interest in the visit, and particularly Otumfo's traditional sitting arrangement at the carnival facing President Michel and former President James Mancham, drew its symbolic interpretation. Asante history and Prempeh's exile in Seychelles is part of the school curriculum. And a newspaper article by President Mancham asking for a serious public and government debate about the guest's speech generated the desired discussion. Otumfoɔ, in an unusual practice, granted an interview to the Seychelles Broadcasting Corporation for the Top Flight program, 20 Minutes, which drew one of its biggest evening audiences as he discussed Seychelles Asante relations, but also international affairs.
Some managers and people out there, and the young players themselves, see it as economic development, so they want big money. So obviously when foreign teams contact them, they sign agreements and leave. So a player that you think could have helped your team to develop, within a year or two he's left you, and you still have to start again by looking for a new one. That is the only thing affecting my team, but we shall come back to that, and then we'll come to Seychelles. If we have a team here, I can bet that we'll beat them.
That will be a very interesting match.
Yes.
Your Majesty, coming back to Seychelles, will you have the opportunity to visit some parts of the country outside the Carnaval before you go back?
I would love to do that. It's a beautiful island. Driving through within these few days, I realized that it's a beautiful island, and I would love to explore that further. Or maybe come back privately next time and then be able to explore the whole island later.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty.
Thank you
for
very much.
answering our questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If the descendants are living products of the exile story, the plantation house here at Le Rocher, a district within Mahé where Prempeh lived and still standing, is a resilient symbol of the narrative. Rented from a French family, the Adams, by the British, it was within this enclave that the Asante village, homes of the other political exiles, were until Prempeh moved into the property. Nearby and far off from here, the British had kept other anti-colonial leaders from the empire, including those from Palestine, Afif Didi of the Maldives, Archbishop Macarius from Cyprus, who became leader of independent Cyprus, the Kabaka Mwanga of Uganda, and the Sultan of Derak, Malaysia, Abdullah Jafar Moratham, in the roll call of resistance leaders. With the exception of this property as a historical heritage, all the others are gone to regeneration enterprises or redevelopment by private owners. But for minor renovation, this property is as Prempeh lived in. It was in this house that he was taught to read and write in English, and at a relatively short time to the surprise of his instructors. It is here that most of the over 1,000 correspondences he exchanged with the British colonial officers were written, and most probably where he wrote, with the guidance of his mother, Nana Yi-chan, in 1907, the first Asante interpretation of empire history, the history of Asante kings and the whole country itself.
Two crazy lovers